Hello, lovelies. I hope you're having a fabulous Tuesday. I'm coming to you today because we have a new moon. It's in the sign of Taurus. If you didn't know, the sun and the new moon are always in the same sign. And so the sun is in Taurus, therefore the moon is in Taurus. If you are an astrological student or if you're a study group attendee, if you come to my study groups every month, then please watch the duration of this video because I give you prompts for your personal study toward the end. In the meantime, what I wanted to talk about are the Taurus archetypes and the energies that we can expect to be feeling today. First, let me say that I am an evolutionary astrologer, and evolutionary astrology is a modern practice. It includes a psycho-spiritual approach. So it is a spiritual and psychological approach to astrology. And very specifically, when we look at an astrological chart, if I was giving you a consultation, I would be looking at the planet Pluto as a representation of your soul and your soul's evolutionary journey in this lifetime, what your soul came in to learn and why. So when I talk about any of the archetypes astrologically, I'm interpreting them through the lens of evolutionary astrology. The sign Taurus is ruled, each sign has a planetary ruler. Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus, okay? And it is representative of the second house of a zodiac chart, an astrological chart. So the second house, Taurus and Venus, all constitute an archetypal unit. They are similar energies. From the evolutionary astrology perspective, Taurus energy wants a few things very, very specifically. It represents just dozens and dozens of different human archetypes that we can experience on the planet. But very, very specifically from a soul evolutionary journey, what Taurian energy is here to learn about is self-sufficiency, self-worth and self-love, and its value system. Now, if you're not a Taurus, that's okay because we all have a second house in our chart. We all have Taurus somewhere in the chart, and we all have the planet Venus somewhere in our chart. So the amazing thing about astrology is that even though there are all these different archetypes, they are expressing a unified human experience. So some of us experience certain things more than others. I like to use motherhood as a good example of this. Some people will have multiple children, some people will have no children. And so if you're a woman, your experience of the mother archetype will be different, right? But you're still experiencing it as a child through, contact with mothers, etc., etc. So the Taurian archetype is about earth and earth energy and the physical body, materialism generally. And materialism has different definitions, right? It's like the desk that's in front of you, your feet on the floor, the soil on our mama earth planet. And it's also financial. It's like actual money and our finances. And you can see where you derive a lot of self-worth from money and finances and your financial status and your bank statement, right? Especially if you're an American, where we have a very exaggerated sense of self-worth based on our economic condition. So when the new moon is in Taurus, we are experiencing these archetypes, okay? And not just that, but we're having situations in our lives that are highlighting our sense of self-worth, our sense of value, where we could possibly be more self-sufficient, or even on the flip side of that, are we being too self-sufficient? Do we actually need to ask for assistance? Has somebody offered assistance that we've declined when really we might benefit from receiving, which is a very Venusian archetype, Venus being love and relationships and our self-worth and self-value. I did create a video when the sun ingressed into Taurus. Ingress means moves into. So when the sun moved into the sign of Taurus last month, I created a video about our self-worth and our value systems, and I'll link it in the description here. I really recommend that you watch that because it highlights these points even more strongly. And even if you're not having situations or experiences in your life that you are consciously thinking about them as, oh, I'm being asked to examine my value system, or oh, I'm being asked to determine what my self-worth is looking like. That is what the situation or experience is likely, the undertones. Those are likely the undertones of this situation or experience, okay? If we take it further, we can see in the heavens right now that the planet Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius, and it is in square to the Taurus sun and moon, which are at 21 degrees Taurus. I believe it's 21 degrees. Oh geez, where'd my chart go? So when we have a square from Saturn to the luminaries, what we are experiencing is challenge from our external environment. And Saturn can, all these energies exist on a spectrum. If you're one of my clients, you've heard me say this. So there's the positive, transcendent, fulfilled expressions of all of these archetypal units. And then there's also the shadow traits that we express when they're imbalanced. So when Saturn is imbalanced, we find that it can be gloomy, it can overwork itself, it can be pessimistic, etc. Kind of like Eeyore energy in its like worst expressions, controlling, fearful. But then in its positive expressions, it has so much integrity. It can master anything. It is the Saturn Capricorn 10th house energy, exemplifies hard work and achievement through dedicated, sustained, loyal hard work. And it also has a lot to do with taking responsibility for oneself, which also includes relinquishing responsibility for people and situations that are not actually yours to take responsibility for. Stop being codependent. So Saturn is really asking us to be a grown-ass man, to be a grown-ass woman, to stop playing around. If you're gonna go do that job, you do that job to the best of your ability. If you're gonna go wash your car, fucking scrub the tires too, Like it's not messing around. It wants excellence, and it wants excellence from itself. It wants excellence from others. It wants excellence in a job well done. So it's a very demanding energy. So when we're experiencing a square, which we're all experiencing this square right now, because transiting Saturn in the skies is in square to the sun and the moon. And so the luminaries, the sun and the moon, especially the moon, is representative of our emotional nature, our instinctual nature, even subconscious emotions as well. So when we have Saturn in aspect, we can find ourselves confronted with situations that are asking us to deepen our emotional maturity, to reflect on where we are taking responsibility too far or not far enough. Are you pretending that you weren't responsible for that thing that went awry when really you were, and you need to step up and have integrity and acknowledge that you were responsible for something? Or another way this can express is because the moon is in Taurus, is Saturn can be reflecting on self-worth and not feeling great. I felt really heavy this morning when I woke up. I felt like I was dragging my body along for the first hour of my day. I woke up later than I usually do, and then I felt like I didn't get enough sleep, and it's because it's this heavy, dense earth energy. Taurus is earth. Saturn is the planet that rules an earth sign, Capricorn. And if you feel dense and heavy and it's in aspect to your emotional body, then you can feel down. But it's through this reflection that we get to the other side. Why do you feel down? Are you being really practical about something and you're realizing that, yeah, this thing isn't really working out, or I'm not sure if it's going to work out. I need to bring some integrity to the situation for it to work. I need to look at what my values are. Does this situation fit with my value system? Okay, so I'm always talking about the spiritual side of the astrology, because otherwise, to me, it's only useful in that it is an accumulation of knowledge, okay? And astrology is endlessly fascinating, and it is, in my personal opinion, the coolest, most raddest subject ever. But if we can't really implement it in a way that's effective for our personal lives, that helps us navigate life, then it's why are we studying it, right? Why are we ingesting just more information in this technological age? So I would like to suggest that as a spiritual prompt under this new moon, you think about where you would like to initiate a new project, a new way of being, a new pattern in your life that is around your self-worth, your value system, or your integrity. And especially where can you bring more integrity to those subjects? So I keep talking about our values, and what does that actually mean, right? So here's an example for determining your values as part of this like spiritual prompt, okay? Take just a few minutes and outline how you spent your time and your money in the last week, and with whom you spent your time and your money. Or also where you spent your mental, emotional energy. How much thinking did you do about person X or situation Y, right? Write that down. That's what you value, okay? Now, let's say that you spent most of your money eating out at restaurants. Well, you have to break that down further. Okay, you obviously value eating out at restaurants, but why do you value eating out at restaurants? Perhaps it's because you just don't want to cook for yourself, so it's saving you time and energy. Perhaps it's you just don't cook that well, and that food over there is way tastier. Or maybe it's that you're having social interactions, and so you're valuing that you're spending time with your friends. Okay, so this is what I mean about being very clear about our value system. And then how do we bring integrity to that? So if, as you're looking at your values, you're saying, one of my values is to save money so that I can buy a new car, but then you're eating out with your friends every day and you're not actually able to put money toward your savings account, well, what do you actually value more? You value your social interactions with your friends more than you value saving for that car. And if once you bring intention to that, Saturn is bringing that conscious intention. If you're like, actually, no, I really need a new car. It's freaking me out, man. It's causing me all this stress. Then now you know that you need to curb your spending habits, or you need to find a way of having that same social engagement with your friends that doesn't involve a drain on your finances. Okay, so this is how it looks practically. And of course, we have our transcendent values as well. Love, peace, justice, etc. So you can take this, you can look at this in a very mundane way. How does it look in your daily life? Or you can take it to that transcendent spiritual level. And I'm asking you to break it down. Like, what do you actually value? And then are you expressing those values in your life? If you say that you value empathy, but you're in a situation with somebody where you're just judging and blaming and you're not bringing any empathy to the situation, then do you really truly value empathy? And if you do, then why are you not expressing it? Why are you not embodying your highest spiritual insights, right? So this is how the self-worth can play out with the Taurian archetypes, and why I'm spotlighting Saturn in square to the moon. Especially, we have really supporting aspects with Neptune and Pluto. Pluto's in Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn. Neptune's in the sign of Pisces. They're both making harmonious aspects to the sun and the moon. And both planets are transcendent planets that help us get very much in touch with what needs to be transformed in our lives, and then bringing the compassion and the creative energy to actually do that. So even though there might be some heaviness, rest assured there's also supporting energy that we can tap into to feel better, okay? And then tomorrow the moon moves into Gemini and we'll feel like a lightning, because Gemini has it's a fun-loving, friendly, frivolous kind of energy that is quite enjoyable. And so for those of you who are students of astrology, my prompt for you is to find where this new moon falls in your chart. It is 21 degrees Taurus. And then, of course, you bring in the archetypal energies of that chart location. So if that new moon falls in your 8th house, and we're talking about value systems and our self-worth and our self-love, okay, and it's in the 8th house, other people's money, conjugal relationships, transformation, and most importantly, what is the 8th house? More than anything else, what does the 8th house, Pluto, Scorpio want? Self-empowerment. It wants self-empowerment. It wants to be self-empowered. Okay, so then you're going to add those archetypal themes to this interpretation of the new moon. If you're not a student of astrology and you don't know where the new moon falls in your horoscope, call me. That's what I'm here for. I'm the professional. I will tell you, I'll break it down for you. Schedule a consultation on my website. Also, for those of you who are studying astrology, I would like you to look at not only where does the new moon fall in your horoscope, but is it making any aspects to other planets in your chart, either challenging or harmonious? Because that's going to give you another sense of how this new cycle over the next month of energy will play out. And finally, pay attention to the angles of the chart. Is that new moon falling near one of the 4 angles of your chart? Because if it is, then you know it's even more potent energy. So we're looking at where does it fall, what aspects is it making, and is it near any angles? I would love to hear from you. Okay, like I would love it if you looked and you say, hey, Mello, the new moon is falling in my 2nd house, and so I know that it's heightening all of these Taurian aspects. And then you got to look to what is the cusp ruler of your 2nd house? Is it Gemini? Is it Scorpio? Is it Leo? Right? You got to add that too. So leave a comment, start a conversation if you'd like. I'd love to hear how this is playing out for all of you. I'd love to know if you're feeling any of this heavy, dense energy, or if you're having these self-reflective moments, or if you're having any contemplative feelings around, gosh, like I don't feel good about myself. Where can I bring self-worth and self-love? And how can I be more compassionate toward myself around these different Taurian archetypes, especially money? It could be that you're struggling with money and you're feeling bad about yourself as a result, things like this. Okay, so if you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe so you know when I'm putting out these videos. And also, I want to encourage you. Gotta grab something. I can't find it. To download my freebie, which is a list. It's a very simple list of the year's most potent astrological events. And what's so amazing about this is, yes, you can print it out and keep it on your wall or your fridge or whatever if you're like me and you like to have something physical in your hand, because I'm a Capricorn, physical energy. But the coolest thing that I did is that this PDF download, of course, it can live on your phone, but you can link all of these events straight to your digital calendar. So you don't ever have to remember when they're happening. You will get a pop-up reminder. And not only will you get a reminder that say, hey, there's going to be an eclipse on May 26th, but in that calendar event, it also gives you tips for navigating the energy. And so then like today is a hard day, or today is a glorious day, or ooh, I should take my family vacation then, or don't schedule that conversation to talk to your boss on that day. So the link to download the freebie is in the description. You can also find it on my website. And thank you again for watching this video. I love you all. Have a beautiful day. Ciao, ciao.